Storytime with E.T.C, and this is our 17th episode. So, congrats, guys, for making it on the show.
Thank you.
It's very exciting because our goal when we started this channel was to help bands from locations that we're from. We're from Vancouver Island. We were originally in Calgary, but we moved back recently, and we've been looking for a band to come support that are new on Vancouver Island, and what better band than you guys? So the band that we're seeing right here is Carmine, and what I wanted to know about Carmine is the name itself, because I found out Carmine is a pigment of a bright red obtained from a cochineal insect, which is used for red coloring like food and natural beauty products.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what was the choice for that?
Actually, sorry, I was just gonna lie. I was gonna say that we're all brought together by a love for squashing beetles. But in fact, we just wanted we wanted something colorful, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So we floated a couple ideas, and Carmine kind of stuck. I like it personally because it reminds me of like a mobster.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So you got like a really pigmented color red, or you can also be like some Italian gangster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best of both worlds.
It was Brett's suggestion, and
Really?
yeah, it just kind of stuck. And then on
Which makes sense, it's
stage,
Brett's Sicilian. Yeah.
oh,
Italian.
So on stage we actually wear a lot of reds,
Yeah.
just because Carmine is that beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Give a good
we're
style color palette.
Brianna and Rowan are representing. Me and Brett not so much.
Yeah, Brett's like a little.
He's purple.
more like burgundy purple, but
Brown is sort of in the red spectrum.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's just
oh, it's close enough.
It evokes a lot of emotion, though, that color, though, and it
Oh,
brings
yeah.
out the grit when you're seeing it,
Definitely.
and that's definitely what I noticed. And would you guys consider yourself an alternative rock band? If you had
I
to?
would say so.
that's what our Instagram bio says. So.
Female.
So that's
Be-
female fronted alt rock.
Yeah.
Wow. And when you started your band, was your goal to be an alternative rock band, or was there a specific sound you were trying to gather?
I don't think we ever said specifically what genre. We just kind of
Mm-hmm.
we've seen each other play before, and other bands, Shale with Rowan and Breanna, Furniture
Yeah.
Party with Brett and I, and it was kind of in the sphere of alternative rock.
Yeah.
Right.
But we wanted something really synth heavy, really bass heavy. You'll notice we don't have a guitarist,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
in that sort of realm of alternative rock for sure.
I mean, I just fell into it. I would say
Yeah.
like our producer, he's in an alt rock band, and I feel like he kind of pushed us in that direction, and it just kind of stuck.
He,
And
like,
it
forced
felt
us in
really
that
good.
direction.
He forced us.
Yeah.
We didn't
I want to be a
feel,
ska
but-
band.
Yeah. I wanted to be heavy metal.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really cool that you decided to go alt rock and without a guitarist, honestly, because when we first listened to Live So Slow, you almost couldn't tell there wasn't a guitar because of how well your melody was on the keys there. Even almost had like a keyboard solo at the end. So for someone like me who's a big metalhead, that got sufficed by your keyboard playing. So I wanted to shout that out. And we haven't
Lead guitar.
actually essentially. I wanted to, because I haven't really introduced you for yet to the audience, right? So we'll start on the left side here, and this is Brett, who plays the drums.
Yeah, I hit things rhythmically.
Okay, and you were ex-Furniture Party?
I'm still in it.
And
but
is that still running?
that's still doing its
Oh,
thing.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
That's something we didn't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I was in that with Reghan.
Mhm.
As I said, played a show together with Shale and Rowan and Breanna. We're
The
like,
rest is
we're
history.
starting a new group. Wanted
Wow.
drum, and I'm like, okay, cool. I know a singer too.
Mhm.
Her name's Reghan. She's great. And we're like, cool.
Yeah. He
bring
was
her on.
drafted first. I know. I'm
Yeah.
still salty about it.
Yeah.
She's technically the newest member.
Yeah.
By about like 5 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds about right.
Wow, okay. So then, Breanna, you play the bass, and we've known you from Shell as well. We know they are done now. So, upsetting about that, but very exciting about Carmine now being a part of them. How long have you been a bassist?
When did I start in Shale? I guess like since 2020, I want to say. Like
Oh, wow.
Shale ended up needing a bass player, so I actually used to play guitar a lot more prior to that, and then they needed a bass player, and I kind of dabbled in it here and there, but
Oh, wow.
that's when I really seriously started to pick it up, and yeah, so I guess almost 5 years now.
Thought it would have been longer, so good job.
Yeah, me too. Like, You know, appreciate it. You know, Brett actually went on this tangent last night about
Very drunk.
a very drunk tangent.
But it was true.
And he was like, I've never played with such a great bass player. Like, you know, just your timing is so good. And he was just kind of going on and on. I was like, that makes me feel so good. I was like, you're so drunk, so you must mean it. You know? Otherwise, you would never say this to me.
The truth juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Breanna's also a fantastic vocalist. She does a lot of the backing vocals for Carmine, and we're getting her to sing more and more with every
And that
song.
really excites you, I noticed. Like
Yes.
in the
yeah.
interviews when you talk about Breanna being able to sing with you, what brings so much joy out of that? Is that just being part of
I'm
the
just-
group and
Yeah, well, I think singing's always more fun with other people.
right? Yeah. for
I
sure.
was a big choir kid,
Oh, cool.
and just harmonizing in general makes me very happy. Whenever I see a band with like stacks of harmonies and like everyone has a mic, I'm always
Right.
like goosebumps. So
Oh,
good,
cool.
so good.
So to introduce you, your name is Reghan, and you're also part of Furniture Party then, or
Yeah. Hello, my name
Wow.
is Reghan. I am a part of Furniture Party in Carmine, and I'm speaking directly to the camera.
You're a natural.
we don't do that ourselves. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Rowan here.
Yep, I'm Rowan. I play synth and other keyboard instruments sometimes too. Yeah.
Well done. And what's up with the top hat?
Yeah, why isn't it on your head?
Okay, so the top hat started because a friend of mine said, "Hey, I've got this great dumb idea. Do you want to be a Victorian Christmas carolers troupe for Halloween with me?"
Oh, really?
So we went door to door singing Christmas carols with Halloween lyrics, and I bought the top hat for that. I found it like $5 at Value Village or something.
Best buy ever.
Yeah. And then we were trying to figure out outfits for an early Shale show. And I was like, hey, I've got a dumb idea. What if I wore a top hat? I did not expect them to take me seriously. I did not expect it to stick.
Right.
But they were like, yeah, do it. That'll be cool. And I was like, no, it won't be cool. You're crazy. and then I did it. And the audience was like, oh my God, the top hat was so cool. And so I was like,
Little did you know you became the
okay, I
coolest
guess
person
it's
ever.
like that now. So I now own 9 top hats, and I only bought 5 of them. I don't know where the other ones came from.
Wow.
The hot box is a very integral part of our gear setup. We bring it to every show. It actually holds our inner monitors.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
we have a actual case dedicated to the top hats.
Well, because there's so much space in here, and then you can just put all the
Yeah.
extra
Absolutely. I
gear
put
in there.
all
everything
your
in my
cords.
hat.
Exactly.
You know, it keeps the shape of the hat and it also keeps the cords protected.
Exactly.
Perfect.
See, that's
It's meant to
cool,
be.
because I actually thought maybe you're trying to emulate keyboardists that you like say Tawamas from Nightwish or something. So that's cool to know it had a more organic story to
No,
it.
it was just a dumb Halloween idea.
Something important to know about Rowan and his influences is that
Yeah.
most of them are pre-medieval,
not pre-medieval, but
Just medieval.
pre-Baroque.
pre-Baroque.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
Pre-bro.
very cool.
Yeah, you said something along because we were all talking about our influences when we first met and jam and stuff like that. And when you said, "Oh, I don't listen to anything," or I used to not listen to anything pre 1692, I think is the date.
1695.
1695. I thought he was joking.
Right.
It's like cool, but what do you actually? Oh, okay. Wow, holy moly! Like,
That is
you're
nice.
new to this modern music thing. Holy.
That is nice, but it's a little too modern for my taste.
I was about to say, so your metal influences would be Mach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So what I find really incredible is that you two are still part of one band with Furniture Party. You two were with Shale before, but you found each other. And August 30th of last year, your former bands performed together, not former for Furniture Party, at the Terminal in Nanaimo.
Yeah.
So was that the moment that you first met each other? And then obviously that probably wasn't the moment when you guys decided to be a band, but is that the genesis of
was.
how you guys figured each other out?
So
Yeah,
I was recently watching back an old Shale music video. I was like, oh wait, Brett was in that music video. I never noticed him that day.
So Brett had met us prior to that because for one of our music videos we needed some extras to
Right.
be in the
On the Shale
audience in one of the Shale videos.
Right.
And Brett was actually there with a couple other members from Furniture Party,
Yeah.
right? But Reghan wasn't there.
I
on
was
that
still
day.
playing hard to get.
She was playing for yeah. So technically that was the first time we met Brett. But then we met We met Reghan
Yes.
on the day of the show at the terminal.
Wow.
We were just reminiscing on that with Kiara O'Connor, who's the vocalist
were.
in Shale. We were with
Yeah.
her last night.
Yeah,
Very
wow.
cool.
It was good. It was
It was love at first sight.
exactly.
And those two bands, I need to definitely check out Furniture Party, but Shale, I can see the transition to what you have brought from Shale to Carmine, and I think that's incredible because Shale, for me, I thought was an incredible band, and I was very sad when they ended up breaking up there. So I'm glad that some of it is still moving forward. And something I wanted to bring up was your partnership with the Jellyfish Project, advocating for climate action in schools across Vancouver Island. I think that's really cool. And what made you guys decide to do that?
Well, they approached Shale originally, but Shale broke up before we could actually get around to doing that. So it just seemed natural that Carmine would take that on instead because they were still looking for a band.
I think it was always like, I know especially for you, Rowan, it was something that really intrigued you because Rowan teaches in his day-to-day life, and he enjoys teaching, you know, younger
Your STEM
generation.
teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it was always something that really intrigued him, and I think it was always kind of in the back of his mind. So when we started Carmine, it was like, oh, like, you know, we should reach out to them and see if the opportunity is still there, and if we can, you know, pick it up where Shale left off. And they were into it, and then we started the process with them, and went through interviews and preparation and everything for that.
Awesome.
Is it going well so far?
It is going well, yeah. We took a little pause in the summertime just because, you know, the schools stay closed.
Yeah.
So now that the school year is starting up again, we're back in the process of, we're just kind of in the training process, and then we'll end up in a couple schools. So
Cool.
our first show back is actually going to be at EMCS.
Oh, really?
Which is super cool, which is
Yeah.
the school, high school out here in Sioux.
Yes.
And for Rowan and I, it's kind of a full circle moment because we both had like our very first shows on that stage.
No way.
So it's gonna be
That's
really
really
cool
cute.
to
I
do
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The first time that Rowan and I actually performed together was on that stage. So it's gonna be like a total.
And when's this show?
This is, I don't remember what day it is.
November 25th, I think.
Yeah, November 25th. So yeah, it's for Jellyfish Project. So we'll be presenting to the
Cool.
kids at the school, and
That'll be exciting.
yeah.
My kid goes to that school.
Oh my God. Maybe I'll see them then.
Bring 'em down there.
Yeah. Should be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Yeah.
I have a question for Rowan. So Rowan, you're Carmine's tech lead, with Breanna being the decently competent with music. Just like things to sound nice.
My drums.
Yeah, your drums sound nice. So with that being said, do you then handle most of everything, and only Breanna's then able to touch the tech stuff? Are you eventually wanting the whole band to be competent with it, or do you like having just one person that you can rely on outside yourself?
I mean, in an ideal world, everyone knows how to set stuff up in case someone gets delayed with parking the car or whatever when we're supposed to be setting up for the gig.
Does that happen?
Parking is
Parking's a
always
nightmare.
the biggest challenge of any gig, honestly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
Rowan's a bit of a control freak.
Say it out.
So for the rest of the band, would you like to be able to have more leniency on being able to set up everything for Rowan if there are parking
Honestly,
issues?
I love helping. I love helping, but every time that we like tear down from a gig, I'm always like, Rowan, am I stressing you out by being here? Or like, what can I do? So mostly what my job ends up being is just carrying stuff to the car.
Yeah. It's always just like wondering, like, are we helping or are we making it worse?
Too many cooks, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Because there's like, you know, a specific spot for each and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely Tetris.
Yeah, I don't want to mess up the cable bag.
No, exactly. And then it just turns into a lot of Rowan. Am I putting this in the right spot? Rowan, where?
Just do it.
So, yeah, pretty much.
That's the big thing about the Jellyfish Project thing, though, is literally because we're bringing all of our own gear. Like, I've got my full kit. We brought our own full, like, sound setup and
Subwoofers.
stuff from Pratt. And we set it all up ourselves. Like, and, you know, we have to do it in, like, maybe an hour or less.
Oh, wow.
So, like, doing that initially,
Yeah.
like, that was our first batch of shows. Like, you know, Rowan had to show us everything. Okay, this goes here, plug this in here. And that was really nice to have that overview and be like, okay, we know we can set this up in, like, I don't know. half
He's a
an
great
hour or
teacher.
something if
That's
you need to.
amazing.
That's
He's a
amazing.
great teacher.
And we'll probably need a refresher on that going into these new shows because
Yeah.
it's been a while, but
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
So setting up the gig and parking are things that if you're not in a band, you don't realize how difficult it can add to the stress.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not something you really think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So going into your debut single, which is Live So Slow, that's super exciting. That came out on October 4th, so that's really recent.
Yeah.
Ton of fun on all platforms, and with an official video coming out on October 18th, which is just past.
Yeah.
I forgot what
It's
day it
not-
was. So how has that been, releasing your official single and then even recording the music video? How was that for you for an experience?
Well, I always enjoy music videos. Film was my alternate career choice before I decided to be a teacher.
Cool.
Very cool.
So I have a lot of fun writing and directing and making those things happen.
It was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was.
And then Reghan did all the costuming and everything. So all the costumes that we wore were in a lot of Western attire. and-
Yeah, it was.
Loved that.
Yeah.
I will take any excuse possible to dress up like a cowboy. I will take any opportunity.
It fits your style and your mood. doesn't
What can
it?
I say? Yeah, I love being a gunslinger. What can I say? So that was super fun. It was super fun to pretend to be in a duel at high noon over by
Yeah.
by Super. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
We
And,
love westerns too, so
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the idea with the music video, like just kind of like a campy, cheesy, like
Old Western.
old western,
Mm.
old movie style, like spaghetti western. So
And then
very
even with the song itself, like you were saying, like
Yeah.
the lyrics were inspired.
definitely.
By Western.
Yes. It was written very quickly.
Great, yeah.
Um,
How quickly?
like I think I left band practice
For like half an
for like
hour.
half an hour, came back and had
Yeah.
most of it done.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's like a
very
day.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually not that.
We had a gig coming up
Expedient.
and we basically just didn't have enough music. So we're like, okay, we're gonna
Here's that.
write a new song.
Wow.
And that I think I just started like, playing a little riff.
Great.
And then I think the drums came in, Rowan came in with a little something. And what we usually do is we get a little bit of a recording of it. And then Reghan will then take that recording and then she'll go out to her car, put some headphones in,
Oh,
and then
cool.
she kind of just listens to it back.
Nice.
And then we can just continue to work on the instrumental
Yeah.
while she goes and works on a melody and some lyrics and stuff. So that seems to be a good system for us.
That's a very good system.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
And then this song in particular just came together so quickly, and we decided to record it like
2 weeks before we started recording.
yeah,
When we recorded drums, I should say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was one of our
Yeah, we had the studio time booked, and then we were like, okay, we've got this new song. Let's actually not record that other one we were going to record and record this instead.
Yeah.
Like a week before the studio time or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of special too, because a lot of the musical projects that I've been in, you have this music and then you sit on it for kind of 2 years while you
Mhm.
hem and haw about recording it. So having something so fresh
Really
brought to the studio
Get into it.
is very fun. And a lot of the ideas for backing vocals came about in our home studio as we were recording.
Mhm.
Wow.
So it was very on the fly there, which was super fun.
It's nice not to allow yourself to get cold feet too. And
Absolutely.
then do it while it's
Yeah.
hot. And you still have that enthusiasm to
Yeah.
bring it out to
Mhm.
people as well.
Yeah.
And something I noticed in the interview that you guys had on that Vancouver Island one is that I think you introduced it as Mariana.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did not
And then
decide.
That
that
was
was
one
changed.
thing we did not. For like the longest time, we didn't know exactly what we wanted to call it.
Right. Okay.
So we had decided on Mariana, but then I think it was our producer who was like,
Yeah.
no, like call it Live So Slow. Like that's it's
I like
Yeah.
that.
said a lot in the
Yeah.
song and it's
It's in the
quite
lyrics
memorable.
there.
Yeah.
It is
so-
quite memorable. Absolutely.
So that's why we went with that.
Yeah.
I love that. So Live So Slow, to continue with that one, it's so catchy, fun, and unique, and the keyboards really stood out for that one particularly. Even when we were reacting to it, I forgot there wasn't a guitar.
Literally.
Literally. So if you watch that reaction, I'll be like, wait, right, they don't have a guitar. What am I listening to? So that was a ton of fun to actually be able to have that as a first time introduction to your band. Because I think it really shows where you guys are going and what you guys are capable of when you come together, and now knowing how quickly the song came together, that was all soul and all heart that kind of built that. So like that's super fun. Do you have anything that you're currently working on that's going to have that same kind of flair of being something that you just kind of jump into?
We've got 2 more songs that we recorded around the same time that are coming out early next year.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Yep.
We spent a little more time working on those ones before recording them. And by a little more time, I mean like 2 months or something.
Yeah. Pretty
And
much.
I was just talking about we need to book some more studio time. I was just talking about that last night, so we should do that.
Yeah.
We have enough material now for a full-length album if we want, but
Really?
we're still writing and going through everything. But the next single, which I won't say too much about, that we're coming up with next is one I'm personally really excited about because of all the vocal features on it. Like there's a lot of back and vocal layers. No,
It's not going to be time.
it's not going to be time. That's probably going to be the third one.
Really?
But the next one has a lot of interesting backing vocals that we kind of just did on the fly as well, me and Rowan.
I think it ended up having like, was it 18 or 20 vocal tracks in the final version?
And the last like 40 seconds of that, the outro of that song is, it's all vocal effects and I think a tambourine and we'll listen.
These two made the mistake of leaving us alone in the studio.
Yeah.
And I just turned up the reverb and was like, Reghan, make some noises. And so she's like,
Oh no!
Operatic.
But it ended up being so cool. Like it kind
That's
of closes out the song, and with the general vibe of the song, I think it's like the perfect way to close it out. It's just like
Cool.
creepy, almost like uneasy sounds, and
Yes.
Sounds like you're in a dungeon.
there we go.
But yeah,
I'm excited.
Latin chanting included.
Yeah.
The Gregorian chants.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
cool.
You bring Latin chanting into any piece of music and it brings it to a new level.
That's what it took a little convincing, but
It did.
You had to convince them of that? No.
I think once you executed it, it was like, there's no way this isn't going in the song.
That's awesome. Getting back to Live So Slow, because that's the one that we have reacted to.
Which just came out.
Which
today.
just came out.
Mhm.
Yes, that's
Stream
super
it.
cool.
Oh yeah.
So with this, we are wondering, is there anything personal to these lyrics or to the story?
there is a story behind it, and the story is I'm a dork and I play a lot of tabletop role-playing games.
Nice.
And actually, the previous interview that we had that you mentioned with John, I was almost in a Western-style tabletop role-playing game with him and his friends, which was centered on like an old Western style, like we would all be cowboys on the frontier. So it was a very pressing topic on my mind, the topic of cowboys, and I was learning all sorts of cowboy vernacular, and then I had to come up with the song lyrics, and I said, well, what am I especially interested in right now? And that would be cowboys. And another thing about my songwriting process is that in my notes app on my phone, I have a lot of like interesting phrases I picked up from books or just that come to my mind. And one of them, it was 4 words. It was it's like live fast, die slow, or something like that.
Right.
It was just like, I don't know, that could be a song.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I just kind of expanded on that. And the story is essentially me killing someone's,
Yeah.
shitty dad
Yes.
in a gunfight as we're both cowboys. And I think
Definitely.
I love
that's just how it is.
Oh.
So-
When we were reacting to it, I thought it was she was killing her boyfriend who she found out was cheating on her.
Yes.
Well, the story of the music video is a little different than the story I came up with.
Okay.
And Rowan wrote that with, I think, Callie helped you? Was that all you?
Callie helped me a lot,
With Cal, our friend Callie as well. And that was a little more romance in it.
A little bit.
I was a hired gunman.
I liked that, the hired
Yeah.
gun.
That an ex-wife put out a hit on her husband who's cheating with Miss Breanna here.
Mhm.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, we got
The
our
young
acting chops in.
bassist.
Yeah.
I loved it. That's great. And
Also, I want to ask one thing.
Yeah, sorry.
Is the end of your song in Sun River there?
It is, yes.
It is. I know
Yes.
that exact spot, and that
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah, so I was very worried about the tides actually that day because the river that we're shooting there is actually
Yeah.
tidal.
Yeah.
And we were getting very, very close to the point where the beach was going to disappear. And we still had the wide shot of them walking away from each other to
Right.
do. And it took us 3 takes to get a good shot of that. And ultimately, basically, as soon as I called cut on the 3rd take, the water had reached the point where it just like went over the hump and the beach was gone within 3 minutes after that.
Wow.
So we just barely got
We
it.
have to really
And-
quickly move all our
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
Yeah.
panic running, getting everything.
Exactly. And their videographer, Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Shout out to Jordan, because he was actually.
He waded out waist deep into the river to
It
get
wasn't waist deep on the first take. It ended up being waist deep by the
Are
third.
you serious?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he was knees deep at first, and then he showed me that take, and I was like, "It's not wide enough. You got to go farther."
Shout out
He was out there for
to Jordan. Yes.
skimming all over the shots. They're like, "Oh, you here?" We're like, "Okay, we got like Reghan with her inner stage manager from her theater days. She's like, guys, let's go!" Like Jordan's standing out there freezing. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah.
It's like,
Don't piss off the lady with the gun.
I love that. All right, so one other question that I have for you is when you guys are performing shows, you usually have like a 45-minute show. You have the one single that's released now. You have Tired, which you said is going to be like a third release.
Yes, we have to release that one.
So that's a ton of fun. How do you fill the whole 45 minutes for content? I know you said you have a lot of songs that haven't been released yet. Do you play them live or do you do a lot of covers?
We do.
Yeah.
And actually, I personally love playing unreleased songs live because it kind of gives you a chance to workshop it.
Mhm.
We have this
Right.
one song that we just kind of finalized called Heat Hysteria, which went through probably 4 different sets of lyrics that I did sing live at different occasions, just to kind of feel out the best reaction or the best whatever felt the best. So
Smart.
that's a great. No one could tell. So I mean,
Exactly.
it's great.
That was a really good reaction at the last show that we had. I think
Yeah.
people seem to really like it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So you can almost not taste, you could try songs that haven't been released almost the same way comedians test out like jokes on crowds, and they see what lands and what they maybe need to change with the actual joke.
Tweaks.
And then you guys can tweak kind of what before the actual release, and that's actually so brilliant
It's so
and so
helpful.
smart.
Yeah.
What type of covers do you do?
We try not to do too many.
Nice.
We do our best to just do originals.
Good for you.
Good for you.
But when we do covers,
We have some fun ones.
Yeah, we have some fun ones. At our last show, we covered "Hand That Beats" by 9 Inch Nails.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nice.
yeah, which was really fun.
You influenced by that band? a
Oh,
lot?
absolutely.
I would definitely say so.
I
Yeah.
think any rock band with a heavy synth is always going to be.
Yeah.
Like Trent
Yeah.
Reznor.
everybody sound would be.
Yeah, I think there was one
Okay.
time that we played that song, and I want to say we like gave our set list to the sound tech prior to the set, and he was like, "How are you going to do the song without a guitarist?"
Little does he know.
And we were like, "Just watch." And I think by the end of it, he was like, "Whoa, he actually pulled it off." Rowan carries a lot of the
he
weight
does.
on that, for sure. Like
He does.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like Breanna carries a lot of the weight on that.
Well,
Wait, you're based
I feel like I carry.
You jack shit.
She literally carries the equipment.
Yeah. We also have covered, like, big shout out to Red Rum Club. We covered their song Vanilla a couple times, and they.
Okay.
yeah, they're
That's always good fun.
out of the UK, so
Very cool.
yeah, they're
Nice, you do that.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. We do that, and then I'm trying to think of.
We did a Rihanna song once, but they didn't like it.
We did it once.
We just showed up
Put
and
a
drive at Rebel Garage.
Yeah.
It was super fun, but
We did it once, and
one more
we
down?
decided
that was
the
good
only
enough.
So
time we were gonna
once.
do it.
That was
So
a
One and done.
Mhm.
Do you guys actually have an EP being released soon then, or has it already been released?
We're a little bit. We're not really sure exactly what our release plans are at this point.
Okay.
I think as of right now, it's just going to be 3 singles.
Yeah.
That may eventually go on to a future album or EP. Just kind
Right.
of depends on
Fun.
how the releases go and funding, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So look out for the singles, and you got 2 more coming in 2025. It sounds like.
That's right. Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Very
Brett,
exciting.
I want to know what started you with drumming. I never really got to get into what got you into becoming a musician.
Well, essentially, like maybe middle school, I guess. My mom discovered that I really liked Beatles songs, and so they got me a Beatles greatest hits,
Beatles.
top singles of the Beatles. So I listened to that repeatedly in our living room on the CD player. And then they're like, "So Brett, we know you like the Beatles, and we noticed that you've been drumming a lot on our nice new furniture. Would you like to drum on a real drum kit instead?" And I was like, "I'd rather play guitar. Guitars get girls." And a week later, comes in again. I'm like, no, yeah, I think I should be a drummer because I'm still boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. So yeah, So you could say Ringo Starr from the Beatles was my drumming inspiration to get me into it, and of course, yeah, my parents, my mom especially, was like, yeah, very very encouraging.
Cool. Encouraging parents,
And
that's great.
yeah, so I've been playing it like playing drums on and off since middle school. Like I took a little break and then I got back into it after high school, and then kind of just been doing it ever since.
You've been in quite a few
And,
bands.
yeah, quite a
right?
few bands over the years.
So do you get
I used
girls?
to be in- no comment.
We was at 3 parties.
But, yeah. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I've been in a few bands over the years. Like I used to be in a punk band, and
Cool.
for like pre-COVID, and that took up a lot of my time. And then obviously I had Furniture Party, and then yeah, Carmine's definitely the most different out of any group I've been in, just because of the challenge. One of not having a guitar filling that
No kidding.
extra sonic space. So obviously, like we said, like Rowan does fill a lot of that, but like it's a challenge for me on drums because usually
Yeah.
my philosophy is much like Ringo is I want to play with the vocals and I want to complement what
Okay.
Regan's doing melodically and vocally over anything else.
Right.
I don't want to take up space. I just want to be able to kind of fit in the pocket and stay there for
Okay,
the most
I
part.
see.
But yeah, it's a weird line between like maintaining that philosophy and applying it versus like knowing, okay, when can I show off a little bit? When can I add a little extra flair? So I feel like I'm still trying to navigate that.
But that's exciting.
That's exciting. That's
It
a fun
is, yeah.
navigation.
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like it's been kind of a navigation for all of us for
Mhm.
sure because we're also used to having one, if not two, guitarists.
Yeah.
And there's some level of I don't know. I found even in Shale like it was kind of difficult because the keys and the guitar would kind of occupy the same sonic space, right?
Right.
So it was like kind of figuring out where you could fit in.
Yeah.
And now it's like you can take a lot of the reins on it all.
And curiously, a lot of my Shale keyboard parts were 2 hands and then some, and a lot of my Carmine parts are just 1 hand. It's like I'm,
Interesting.
Really?
despite having more room, I'm playing less.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been an interesting adjustment for all of us for sure.
But you don't notice anything's missing. That's like.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
sound
again,
like
coming
there's
from a
anything missing.
guitarist, that was
Yeah.
the hardest thing for me is how are they going to fill that space, like you're saying, the sonic space, and you
Definitely.
really have done such a good job. And I would love to know when you started singing, Regan.
Oh my gosh. When I was a kid,
Yeah?
yeah. My mom said I hummed in the crib a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was a big hummer. So yeah, and then I just completely annoyed my family by harmonizing with the radio in the car every possible opportunity. And yeah, I sang in school a lot. And then my first ever band was when I was 17 with obviously my theater friends, and I started a grunge rock band, which I
Oh,
played
cool.
guitar for.
And play guitar.
I played guitar and I did backup vocals.
Wow.
And
Are they
then
still a band too?
they just broke up this
They
year. I went to their
broke up.
last
Very
concert.
Oh.
Sturdy Lemon, shout out. So that was my first kind of foray into being in a band and
Right.
performing outside of like a theater aspect, which was super fun. And then with Furniture Party, after about 2 years, I kind of went into the lead singer role,
Wow.
which has kind of been my first time as a front man.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's been very fun too. And now with Carmine, I get to kind of
Yeah.
show off a less belty, more
Softer side.
a little bit of the softer side, a little bit more versatile.
Yeah.
With the
Very
kind
cool.
of way that I'm singing, which I found really fun. And they also let me write all the lyrics. So,
And you do all the lyrics.
with the exception of
I've written some lyrics. Brett's written some.
yeah,
I think Breanna.
not so much the stuff that we're putting out though.
Yeah. I only write
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and you also did choir you were mentioning as well?
Yeah, I did choir in school
Right.
and theater and stuff. Yeah, shout out to Elizabeth Platts, who was my choir teacher and taught me harmonies and great music teacher.
A great voice, and like you said, very versatile, especially with the tired. Is it so tired or tired?
I think the title we ended up going with was I'm
So tired.
I'm so tired.
I
Shout
think
out
we
to
definitely called
Fugazi.
it tired in that video that you
Yeah,
did.
but I think
Yeah.
I'm so tired. is the movie.
Between Live So Slow and I'm So
It's
Tired,
right.
you could see your complete range there, and I really do think, Breanna, you add so much to
Oh my
the
gosh.
background for her,
Yeah.
and I can see why she's so excited with that too. And
Thank you.
hopefully, a lot more of that moving forward.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
got
let's
that
say
good
like
stuff.
yeah.
And then Rowan,
That's uncommon.
when did you start with your keys?
It's a really good question, and I don't know the answer.
Well,
Both my,
tell them
yeah, so both my
parents.
parents are guitar teachers, and so
Okay.
me being the rebellious child that I was, I never learned guitar. Uh, I was also in a choir, and I definitely learned a lot of music stuff through that. And there was a piano in the house because house full of musicians. Of course, there's a piano.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know at what point I learned to play piano. I'm not sure if I know how to play piano. I think I know how. I think I know how to music theory, and then the piano just happens because of that.
Right.
Weren't you in a band that was like all piano players at one point?
So, yes. We don't like to talk about that. There was an early teenage band that, to clarify, did not sound very good. But at one point we had 3 pianists, 3 lead singers, and 0 drummer or guitar or bass.
That's interesting.
How did you never make it big?
Why don't you like to talk about it?
One of the pianists decided that was ridiculous and learned to drum. And that was the drummer for Shale.
Oh wow.
That's
Okay.
very cool.
That's why Michael
Yeah,
Jackson.
no, yeah, I didn't
Oh,
know.
wow.
Oh, okay.
That's really sweet. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's a cool background story. A little Easter egg for everyone.
I think the best part about seeing you 4 together is just how friendly and how fun you have, and you guys are like actually playing together, and that's what helps you guys stay together, right? Like it's not just playing together as in the music. You're going out to parties, you're hanging out with each
Yes.
other, you have each other's back, you're having fun dressing up as each other's
Exactly.
like that shows a lot, and that I think is going to help you guys with your future moving forward a lot. And how is a way for people to help you that are outside of Vancouver Island? Because obviously coming to your shows is probably the best way to help you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say coming to shows, but I mean, just streaming our music and, sharing it on social media and whatnot, so that way, people that might follow them can see it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of, sharing our music and
And then
liking,
we'll come to you one day.
subscribing.
We'll come to you one day. Make yourselves known. We'll tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want this
Request us in
Yeah.
your hometown.
So what are some of your ambitions then as a band? Like how big are you guys trying to get? Are you trying to travel to perform? Is there somewhere you're trying to hit, like Japan or something, to go perform there?
Yeah. I love that.
I mean, there's only so often you can play the same town before people just stop buying tickets to your shows. So being able to travel to play just means you can play more often, and that's
Yeah.
really the fun
That's
part of
cool.
music.
Just expand the audience a little bit, so that way, people don't get too tired of us.
I think the biggest goal we have is to have a band that pays for itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
That
Yeah.
would be great.
Awesome.
This is the most fun, most expensive part-time job ever,
Yeah, I bet.
It's just
It is
Yeah.
expensive.
but so fun.
Yeah.
So worth it.
fun.
Yeah, for sure.
You had mentioned that you would love to have an EP or a
Full-length album.
full-length album come out at some point. Have you guys considered crowdfunding or other ways to get that going?
Oh.
We've been applying for a lot of grants.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
applied. There's a lot of government issued BC grants.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We've applied for that, but of course they have a lot of people that do apply for it. So I think it's only a handful of people actually get it. But we have applied for that, and I think we should hear within the next couple months whether or not we got that. So
Oh,
that'll
so
allow us to.
The latest would be December, I think, that we'd find out about that.
Right.
That would go towards what we've already done, like in terms
Yeah.
of recording and
Right.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, and some merch related stuff, just in expenses that we could, and then new stuff going forward, like we're gonna record more drums, or we're
Yeah.
gonna rent more equipment to record vocals.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you got merch coming out?
We
Yeah,
have.
potentially.
We do have some T-shirts.
We're gonna get cooler t-shirts though.
We're gonna get cooler T-shirts. They're
Yeah.
pretty simple right now. They just kind of have our logo on it. Just
Right.
really small.
But we're an excessive maximalist band, so we need excessive maximalist merchandise. That is my philosophy. So stay tuned for that upcoming shows.
And then we've got some just some posters of us
Yeah.
that we
Nice.
sign, and
Okay.
we actually made our logo into a
Okay, one of the wax stamps. You
Wax.
melt the
Oh,
wax
that's
in a candle.
cool.
yeah. Someone remarked that our logo looked a lot like one of those.
It
and
does.
Rowan
It
took
does.
it upon himself to get one made, and
So
so
something you would do.
it definitely. Yeah. So we've got these posters, so we'll wax seal.
It's actually really funny because we have to like the way that we heat up the wax is Rowan will light a candle and we'll put a spoon on top of the candle and melt little wax
That's
beads.
how
And it's
you
like
do
the
it.
sketchiest,
And
sketchiest
Rowan was
setup
like, "Oh,
ever.
we should be doing this in front of people at the venues," and we're like, "No,
It's so cool though.
It's cool, but like it looks sketchy."
It's not 1695. It looks like something
I
entirely
yeah.
different in this day and age.
Have to keep that in mind.
Yes.
16 so much cool.
But no, I understand, Rowan, because we actually have a wax stabbed with a P on it for when I send out letters because of our last name.
That's so cute.
That's
we,
so
We
cute.
take any opportunity we can to use that.
We do.
Yes, same.
Anything we can use it for.
Maybe that's what people can do to support us is write us letters and then we'll write
Oh.
back.
Yeah.
Maybe PO box or something.
So what do you have for the rest of the year? Is there any shows coming up or anything like that?
Yeah, so we'll be playing the Lights of Wonder event in
Right.
downtown Victoria in Centennial Square there. So they have bands during that event, like I guess a month, and we'll be on December 23rd.
September 23rd.
6 p.m. Yeah, it's all
Really?
ages. Anyone can go check out the beautiful lights, listen to some great tunes performed by yours truly.
Wow.
Bring some
Okay.
hand warmers if you can.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that would be pretty cool.
That was December 23rd, you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 p.m.
And
6 p.m.
when was the EMCS one? Was that established yet?
November 25th.
That's November 25th.
Obviously,
right.
not open to the public, but
Okay, so you
Yeah.
got two shows kind of coming till the
Yeah.
end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of Jellyfish Project related stuff,
Nice, cool.
and then just that one show in December. So far, at least, I think. That's
I guess
probably-
kind of a peek into what we're doing as a band that isn't really necessarily public front is we're trying to write 10 songs and then
Ooh.
pick 5 out of them to kind of integrate into our set. So that's kind of a little challenge from our producer Mike.
Wow,
So that's kind of what we're doing while we're not performing super
that's a lot of
regularly
work.
right now.
It's a lot of work.
How many songs are you in so far, you think?
I think it's
5
5.
I think we hit 5 already.
in various
Yeah.
stages of being developed. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, some are better than others for sure, but that'll help us narrow it down.
Good
It's just,
for you guys.
I mean,
I think we're averaging like 2 songs per writing session at this point.
Yeah.
2
Really?
ideas, 2 demos.
something
That's
like that.
fantastic.
Yeah, so we have the opportunity through the Conservatory of Music in Victoria. The students there, they're looking for bands to practice doing recordings.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So they ended up selecting us for that.
Nice.
So we're gonna record a couple songs with them,
Cool.
which will be really cool for them, like as a learning experience for them, but then for us too, just to kind of master the studio experience.
Absolutely.
Just because it's like a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What's so different about, say, a home compared to a studio that you got to go into?
Big difference is time constraints. When you're at home,
Right.
you have as much time as you're all free for, which in our case is not much,
Not much.
anyway.
There's a lot of me going to Souk after work, driving to Souk after
Yeah.
work to record with Rowan for Live So Slow and the others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did record the drums at a professional studio for our last few, and I think we're going to keep on doing that because I don't know anything about miking a drum kit.
Right.
So yeah, having people who know things that you don't know is very useful
That
in
helps.
studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the time restraint can sometimes bring out creativity in a better way because when you're restricted,
Yeah.
it kind of pushes you to get it out, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Helps
Having
you
too
think
much
outside the box when you have a box.
Exactly. I work great under pressure too. so-
Yeah. Yeah. If we have too much freedom, then we don't actually
Yeah.
get much
then
done.
you're on like 30-second vocal take and you probably could have used the 4th one. So
Yeah. Exactly.
How often are you guys practicing together as a band then?
It's not as often as I'd like to.
Like twice a week.
Twice a
Yeah.
week though?
Once or twice.
Try to do twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just depends on schedules and whatnot.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, because
generally.
you two came in 2 different vehicles, so some of you live in Souk, some live in Victoria, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. We practice.
Designated drivers.
Yes. Yeah. These two here. We practice out in Souk, so these two, Reghan and Brett, will come from Victoria and practice out at my place.
Yeah.
So they make the trek out. Yeah,
Mhm.
at least once, if not twice a week. So they're familiar with the terrible traffic. Yeah,
Well,
the crawl.
a lot more coming for this year. Then you got potentially 10 songs coming out by next year.
I wouldn't say
About
that.
five
Yes.
out of
We'll see about the grants coming
Yeah,
in.
if we get the
if you get the grants and all that. So fingers crossed, and hopefully you get the support that you're looking for and deserve. And is there anything you guys want to say to our Chronicans on the channel here if they've never seen you guys? Hmm.
Nice to meet you. You're beautiful. You made such a good first impression. Yeah. What else? I don't know. I have a question for you guys. What's your
Yeah.
cat's name?
Oh, yes. So this one that has been coming and saying hi to you, that's Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. I love Bam Bam.
And then the other one's Pebbles.
Oh,
Perfect.
Flintstones.
So Flintstones,
that's
Bam
very
Bam,
cute.
Pebbles,
That's very cute.
but we call Pebbles Pebby, and that's what he responds.
Aww.
Well, he's a very nice host.
Yes, he's somewhere.
Yeah, but we have lots of cool stuff coming, so stay tuned.
That's exciting.
Brianna posts a lot on our Instagram.
Yes, I try to keep
So,
on top of that.
yeah.
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 Lots of
Awesome.
reels and
Lots of
photos
fun
and
stuff coming
things.
soon.
We're
Yeah.
on TikTok too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of your followers use TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Yeah. Do you guys have a
go to
Patreon or anything that we can link as well for them?
We don't
We
do
don't.
Patreon, but that is a good idea.
They're
We're
very
behind the
smart to
times.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should look into that.
Awesome.
We will get a Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here, you four, and we are now exiting the Chronic's rabbit hole.